Let's talk about the Clinton Foundation and the new 14,900 new emails. We talked about it a little bit last week. We referenced it a little bit, but so the Clinton Foundation is back in the news, and they're in the news because of the Associated Press and Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, in a speech this week, said that he's calling for an investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Donald Trump said it's impossible to figure out where the Clinton Foundation ends and the State Department begins. This, coupled with the Associated Press analysis that they got data from the State Department, and they got it through a lawsuit. They discovered that 85 out of 154 private individuals who got to meet or had phone calls with Hillary Clinton were also donors to the Clinton Foundation. In other words, over 50% of the people who got a meeting with Hillary Clinton or had a phone call with Hillary Clinton were donors to the Clinton Foundation. It's not clear whether or not those donations took place before or after. I'm sure there's probably a combination of all the above. But what is clear is that over half of the people who met with Hillary Clinton were donors. So even though there have been calls for the FBI to investigate, the FBI has declined to investigate the organization. And Donald Trump has referred to this as evidence of a pay-to-play scheme between the Department of State and the Clinton Foundation. So you have two sides of this equation that in the arguments that's going on right now. Number one, you have a lot of people who are stumping the ground to make it clear all of the good things that the foundation has done. And let me say, as I start, I'm going to actually outline some of the, because they have done some good. Let's be clear. They have done some good. But I don't think the good that you do precludes you from or protects you from the bad that you do. So I was going to do my best. I tried. But so here it is. The Clinton Foundation, they're made up of 11 nonprofits who focus on four major things: global health and wellness, climate change, economic development, and opportunities for women and girls. They operate in over 70 countries. They directly help 11.5 million people. They provide HIV/AIDS medication to 800,000 children at 90% reduced costs. They have provided high quality fertilizer to East African farmers. They operate in the U.S. as well, programs to U.S. schools designed to improve nutrition, health, and physical education. And because of the good things that they've done, you have a lot of voices who want to put the focus on the good that they've done. But there are also some issues with the foundation. Reuters discovered that from 2010 to 2013, the foundation's health arm wasn't disclosing all of its donors. Hillary Clinton promised that the foundation would publish all of its donors every year, but this didn't happen. Charity Watch, in spite of this, though, Charity Watch has given the Clinton Foundation an A grade. They get great ratings from all of the quote unquote official organizations that evaluate your foundation. They are getting great marks. But in the middle of the good things that they've done, you have this cloud hanging over because of the percentage, the appearance. And the thing that bothers me the most about it, as I think about it, is the promises that were made saying that there would be a veil between the foundation and the State Department. Now, maybe Clinton just should never have promised that, because the reality of it is, I mean, if you deal with this really fairly, and you think about the people that in power, you have people around you that you trust. So whoever she was working with, Huma Abedin, whoever else she was working with at the Clinton Foundation, were inevitably going to come with her to the State Department. I think that's the first step. I think we can all agree to that the people she was working with at the Clinton Foundation were going to come with her to the State Department. And because this entire game of politics is 100% about relationships, it's about who you know, who you have relationships with, then clearly she was going to bring relationships from the Clinton Foundation over to the State Department. The problem is when you make a promise and say we're going to have a veil of separation, and then on this side of that promise, we realize there was almost no separation. And not only was there no separation, but there was the appearance that people were able to give donations and get special treatment. I don't know. I just come from the world where you under promise and you over deliver. You know, it makes so much sense on this side of the equation. One, that she probably shouldn't take into the role as Secretary of State, because this is going to complicate her role as president. Right. Of course, their claims, there's pressure on her now to shut down the entire organization, which I doubt very seriously that's going to happen. There's pressure on her to not only shut down the entire organization, but to sever all ties with the organization. But that's in itself, I mean, that would be setting her up for failure again. Right. Because there is no severing ties with the organization that you helped create, with all of the relationships that you have and that you fostered over the years. And so there will be people who have the express expectation that because they have a relationship with Hillary Clinton through the Clinton Foundation, that they should expect that relationship to transcend into the White House. That is the nature of political relationships. And anyone who's going to say otherwise is not being honest with you. It's both a good thing and it's also a bad thing. And it complicates this so much. I mean, really, the potential for even more confusion if the Clinton organization's foundation stays open and she maintains ties, or if she promises to break ties and she can't break them because they're all built on relationships. It really creates a cluster F of think about it, a cluster F of hearings that we're going to have to sit through for the next 4 to 8 years. And I know they've done good things, but they've also done some things that are sketchy at best, and the FBI has just decided not to investigate it. And I don't think the good things that they've done should be a justification for excusing everything. And that's ultimately that's the thing I have the biggest gripe with. We have to stop excusing people just because we like them, or just because they've done something good, or just because they did. I mean, how many good things would make up for the one bad thing? And anyway, so if you want to add to this, you have 725 pages of emails that were released on Monday. One newly disclosed email chain reveals that Doug Band, a Bill Clinton advisor who played a major role in establishing the Clinton Foundation, worked to set up a meeting between then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Crown Prince Salam al-Khalifi of Bahrain after a formal request was denied, according to The Intercept. Band, the Washington Examiner, notes that he wrote to Huma Abedin to stress that Salman was a good friend of ours. The Clinton Foundation notably received a donation worth $100,000 from the Bahrain government. The reason this one email is worth pointing out is because of the Bahrain government and their human rights violations. Afterwards, the U.S. conveniently resumed arms sales to Bahrain in 2015. Human Rights Watch themselves had to say that this was a bad move. So, I have to ask people who are defending Hillary Clinton at every step of the way, justifying, saying, oh, she's doing good work with X, Y, and Z. The question is, at what point do you say that this, I don't even know how to describe. I don't even know if it's worthwhile describing at this point, right? Because if they don't see it, they just don't want to see it, right? If you can't say at this point that, you know what, forget it. That's all I'm going to say is forget it, because I don't even feel like explaining it anymore. How How much of it is criminal? That's a conversation. How much of it is going to undermine her role as the presidency? That's a conversation, right? And to what extent? Can it? Will it? But to say that she did nothing wrong, all the way back to the email investigation with the FBI, to just say that at this point is just negligence and gross negligence and willful negligence and just willfully ignoring the fact that at a minimum, can I get a Hillary Clinton? Can I get Peter Dow? Can I get Brock? Can I get all of her henchmen to say that at a minimum, Hillary Clinton promised something was going to happen and it absolutely did not happen. In fact, the opposite of what she promised. She promised a division between the Secretary of State, the State Department, and the Clinton Foundation, and it absolutely did not happen. But I guarantee you, if you ask them that, those guys that I mentioned and the rest of their ilk, they would not even be able to fix their mouths to say that she, at a minimum, broke her promise during the hearings for her being confirmed as Secretary of State. And that, my friends, is a problem that I have with people being committed to their leaders without being able to critique their leaders.